You Universal executives were so preoccupied with whether or not you could make another Jurassic World movie, you didn't stop and think if you should. Hello, it is I Smart, and here's my review for the new Jurassic World Rebirth movie. Go see it so you can see the new Christopher Nolan trailer. Okay, but seriously, where do I begin with this movie? I'll start with this. I went into this movie with extremely low expectations. I'm really pissed off. They're making another frickin' Jurassic World movie. Why? There's a new island that we haven't gone to. I hate it. I hate it so much. How are you so stupid? What? Where do people come up with this? It's the same crap they did in Star Wars. Just stop. Because, the last two were so terrible. But this movie actually surprised me by being not terrible. Unfortunately, it's still nowhere near as good as the original. And yes, the movie is doing well financially. It had a big opening weekend. I made a video about this movie at the start of the year when the first trailer dropped, and I had a lot of people comment some things, and I want to address those really quick because, I want to explain my perspective I have. Some people were pointing out that I was complaining about the movie before it came out, and I'm really pissed off. It's so bad. Why did you guys do that? How are you so stupid? Please, just let this franchise die. I don't want to have to go back and see another one in theaters. It's time to stop. Right, so I'm part of the problem. I get it, I'm going to contribute to the movie sales and they'll just keep making more. That is true, and I am going to keep complaining about this movie because that's my fun, alright? I love movies and I love complaining about movies. That's how I have fun. That's how I show my love for movies, okay? I mean, this really should be obvious considering I'm a Star Wars fan. Anyway, this movie is directed by Gareth Edwards, who apparently was brought in last minute, and it kind of shows, you can kind of tell. I saw the last movie he was in, it was called Creator. It was okay. I think this movie was probably a bit better than that. But yeah, I also rewatched Rogue One recently, so yeah, Gareth Edwards, he's a good director. It's just obvious that with, Rogue One, the reason that is so exceptionally good is because of Tony Gilroy. Obligatory go watch Andor. I mean, come on, guys. I was obviously gonna say go watch Andor at some point, so just go watch Andor, it's amazing. But I like that this new Jurassic World movie, it was fresh. It stood out on its own. It stood out from the other ones. This one didn't feel like it had to be another entry just within a big franchise. It felt more like a standalone movie. Hey, wait a minute. But overall, the directing was alright. There were some scenes I thought were kind of weird, especially with Scarlett Johansson. I don't know what it was. Her performance just seemed kind of off to me, and some of the other actors as well, so there was just a lot of scenes that felt awkward with her and some of the other actors, like they were just talking about stuff. It just felt off.
None of what you just said is good.
I think it was a directing thing. It also, I don't know if it was, maybe it was the lines they were reading or the actors, or maybe all of it. Just some scenes felt especially off, and I'm not really sure why, but it just felt uncomfortable almost. It was weird. It was weird to describe, but generally it was well acted. And the cinematography, that's something I want to point out. This movie is visually stunning. I loved looking at it. I was really enjoying looking at all the pretty colors in this movie. I know that seems really basic, but the movie was vibrant and just colorful, and there were so many great scenes in it that I'm like, wow, this looks amazing. It had great visual effects. That was probably my favorite aspect of the movie. The movie looks amazing. It's such a pretty movie, and that's the only way I can describe it. It's such a good-looking movie. I would have preferred some more practical effects, like having some, actual prop dinosaurs, rather than just having everyone be CGI, but overall, very, very good-looking movie. So yeah, definitely this movie, it's a fun action flick. If you go see it, you're gonna be entertained, but it's just average. It's not standout. It's not, wow, that was so amazing. It was just, it was a movie. It was a pretty good movie. I think it's a bit of a shame, because it means it's going to be forgotten. People, in a couple years are probably not even going to be talking about this movie. But it's not such a bad thing, because, we're still talking about how bad the last two Jurassic movies were. So, we have this at least. Okay, but now at this point in the video, I'm going to be talking about some more specific things in the movie that bothered me or that I really liked. But it's going to be leading more into spoiler territory. I've been kind of vague with stuff, and I'm still going to be vague, just more spoilery type stuff. So some minor spoilers ahead. If you really want to go in blind, you really want to see this movie, just go watch it, okay? If you don't really care, which I think is most of you, just keep watching then. So, first of all, the intro to this movie, the first 5 minutes or so, are completely unnecessary and just totally stupid, okay? Look, I know people in these movies are dumb. They do stupid things. They're like, oh no, the dinosaurs got out of containment. But this has got to be the worst example of it yet, okay? Literally just a product placement wrapper somehow gets stuck in a door and that shuts down the entire facility. Even if you had Jeff Goldblum, all right, explain to me, chaos theory, chaos theory, and even if you had that, it still wouldn't have made it any better, okay? The movie started, and I nearly was like, this is it. This is gonna be a terrible movie. And I think the movie genuinely would have been better without that scene. It wasn't like it was a super necessary scene. It would have been better because when the main characters later in the movie, all these years later, go to the abandoned facility, and they find, what happened here? There's some mystery of what happened here. It would have been better if we, the audience, didn't know that this all happened because of a Snickers wrapper, okay? Because we would have been, what happened here? There's a mystery. We didn't need to know that, like, it happened. It was just it was a stupid scene. And also, yeah, there is a large amount of product placement in this movie. It's kind of annoying. It's not the worst I've ever seen. It's just very annoying when it's like, oh, look, there's another brand logo. There was no car ones, which surprised me. Like, typically, like some big auto manufacturer, but, like, a lot of product placement, okay? It was ridiculous. Okay, one thing that really, really annoyed me in this movie was the use of the original theme. It was just wrong when they used it. Like, in the original movie, they build up to it, and then it's, you know, you see the dinosaurs for the first time, and they're walking. You say, welcome to Jurassic Park. Da 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 da. You know, it was an amazing scene. Perfect in the original. Great use of the music. And I think generally in these movies they use it pretty well. This one in particular though, the first time they use the main theme, the main Jurassic Park theme, is in the weirdest possible spot. They haven't even gotten to the dinosaurs yet. We don't even see the island yet. They just like are getting ready to leave, and then they just start playing the theme, and it's like, what? Why are you playing it now? It makes no sense when it shows up for the first time. Really makes me upset, okay? This really bothers me, because it reminds me of in The Rise of Skywalker, when anytime they would even mention Palpatine, they'd be like, da 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 da. Like, I get it, that's his theme. You don't need to play it every time he's mentioned. And it was the same thing in this movie. They brought it up at the strangest moments. Just like anytime, they're like, oh, time to play the original theme again, because everyone knows it. Everyone knows da 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 da. Like, everyone knows the Jurassic Park theme. You don't need to play it all the time, okay? Save it for the crucial moments. This is John Williams' masterpieces here. Please, take these pieces of music and treat them with respect, gosh darn it, okay? Calm down. It's okay. We can calm down. It's okay, okay? But I like how they took elements from the other movies and, you know, reused them in a good way, like having a family on vacation, and they get lost on the island, except it doesn't suck like in Jurassic Park 3. Or they were able to call back to things like Dennis Nedry, you know, driving away with the DNA because he's greedy, and then he gets eaten by a dinosaur because of it, right? You know, because karma and all that. Not to spoil anything, but something happens kind of like that in this movie. It doesn't have to be shoved in our face and be like, oh, reference, do you get this reference to the first movie? Do you get it? It was able to just do it in an understandable, reasonable way. What I'm trying to say is, it's like poetry, they rhyme. Also, throughout the movie, there are some bits of humor that were used to cut the tension, and it wasn't as bad as in some MCU movies.
We should make this quick, huh?
But it did almost ruin some scenes just for a cheap laugh, and that kind of like, I didn't really like it very much, but it wasn't horrible. It was okay, decently funny. There's a big middle part of this movie. There's two groups, and they're both trying to survive on the island, and they're both separated, and I think it makes it harder to care for the characters because of the fact that they're so separated, and it's just these two separate plots going on. I mean, it got to a point where it almost felt like I was watching two different movies, and just switching back and forth between commercial breaks. Like, generally, it was so jarring. Like, the A plot and B plot were almost completely tonally different sometimes when they would cut back and you're like, oh wait, what's going on with these people? What have they been up to? Oh, they're doing this now? Oh, because the other group was doing this whole other thing and I didn't even think about that. It just made it a bit tough to follow at points. But instead of just complaining, I actually have some constructive criticism for the movie, in case, you know, Gareth Edwards or anyone at Universal watches this. I have ideas of how this could have been improved. Like, what they could have done is, instead of just having the separate groups be separate, they could have had them get mixed up. So some of the people from Group A could have gotten mixed with people from Group B and vice versa. You know, go on this, and like then they could interact as they're trying to survive. They could be like, hey, what's your story? What's going on? We could learn more about the characters in a natural way, and we could actually build on the characters. It's kind of an important thing in the movie. I think that's something they could have done better. And just building off that, I think in general this movie just had weak characters. There was a lot of them, and I think they kind of struggled to focus on all of them. And again, they had to keep cutting back and forth to these two different groups, which made it really difficult. Like in the original, you have Alan Grant. Great character arc, goes from, hate kids, they're noisy, they're expensive, they smell, babies smell. He just hates kids at the beginning of the movie. But then he has to survive with these kids in the park, and by the end of the movie, you know, he's hugging with them. He's really bonded with these kids. And it's like, he's gone through a character arc, he's changed. And it's just a really simple thing. It's just good character work. In this movie, they kind of have that. I mean, like, the main character in this movie, and then the other main character is that like, tells them, like, hey, you know, pharmaceutical companies selling life-saving medicine for profit is actually really bad. Yeah, did you know that? I'm like, oh wow, I never knew. And yeah, that's an actual plot point in this movie. It's weird because it surprised me that it showed up, but at the same time, it really doesn't dig that deep into the issue, and they kind of just move past it. And this movie like brings up a lot of really interesting things, and just doesn't go very far with them. So a lot of things that were just kind of disappointing there. Also, apparently there's a sequence in this movie that was talked about a lot before the release, because this movie features a bit where a T-Rex, T-Rex, look at this guy, he chases a bunch of characters in a raft down a river. Now this is a scene taken from the original Jurassic Park novel, and it just never made it into the original movie. So I didn't even notice. I watched the movie, I didn't even notice till I got home and I looked this up. I'm like, oh wait, that was that scene? Oh, I guess I can see it. But I mean, to be fair, it's been over 10 years since I read the book. Maybe if it was more fresh in my mind, I would have caught it, but it just didn't stand out to me. I was like, oh, that's that iconic scene from the book. It really didn't hit me. And yeah, speaking of that scene, I felt the movie just had too many tense and scary moments. I know, crazy, the scary dinosaur movie was too scary. It wasn't there was just too much of it. It was constantly just from one action scene running away from dinosaurs to the next. You're like, oh, run away from dinosaurs, run away from dinosaurs. It was just constant. You barely got any time to process what's going on. I know I keep going back to the original Jurassic Park, but it did this so much better. It didn't have to have constant action scenes to keep things going, right? Guess what? When you don't have an action scene every 5 minutes, you can have time in between the action scenes to develop the characters, which this movie did not do very much of. But still, their action scenes were very good. They stood out. I mean, this franchise is known for having dinosaurs eat people, all that, right? And there was one especially creative and well-shot scene. I don't want to spoil it too much, but there's one scene where camera kind of you see something in the background, camera turns. It was a really cool scene. I don't want to spoil it. It was an amazing. It was whoa, that was cool. A character just died, but it was really, really cool. That was kind of my reaction in the theater. It was a very well done scene. So I don't want to spoil it. But there were also two fake out deaths where it's oh, this character's gonna die, and then they don't die. And it was oh, well, you tricked me, I guess. So there was at least 2, maybe 3 times where that happened, and it was all right, I'll give you that movie. You didn't kill off as many characters as I thought you would. And I will say, I'm very proud of this movie, because they resisted the urge to have a cameo of, oh, look, it's this character. It's this character from this other movie. Don't you know this guy? Don't you know Jeff Goldblum? He's in this movie. He wasn't in the movie. It was so nice. It was so nice to not have a cameo. All right, I know it's a spoiler, but it's a good spoiler, because you don't have to worry about being, oh, look at this character's back. It's nice. And they didn't even do a post-credit scene. That's so nice. It's so nice to watch a movie and not have to sit through the credits to watch, oh, get ready for the next one. I like watching the credit scenes, but I had to pee during the credits, and I was sitting there waiting for a post-credit scene, and there wasn't any. So if you're like me, you don't have to wait, okay? Just go to the bathroom. So the big bad, again, I don't want to spoil it, but the D-Rex, seriously? I don't even know what its name. I'm just gonna call it the Dummosaurus Rex. It reminded me a lot of a certain monster that Luke Skywalker fights, and it was still pretty cool. It was just really? That's how we're gonna... I don't know. I don't think it's that much of a spoiler, because you see bits of it in the trailers and whatnot, and I think there was discussions about it before the movie came out. Oh, and that little Dolores dinosaur that the girl follows around, right? That's just a marketable plushie. Okay, I'm cynical enough to know a Baby Yoda when I see one. That thing exists simply to sell little plushies. They probably exist. I don't even have to look it up. I already know it. Obviously, this movie is not as good as the original, but it may be the best out of these reboot ones. I don't know, maybe 2015 Jurassic World is a bit better. I think it's close, but the things that are good in this new movie make it better than the things in that movie, but also the things that are bad in this movie make it worse than the things that are bad in that movie. Does that make sense? It's kind of equal in ranking, but it's better and worse at the same time. It really just ends up being a generic action movie, because it's so good and so bad at the same time. It just ends up being a generic action movie. So if that's good for you, if you just want a fun movie to go watch, that's great. But that's just a really fundamental problem with this franchise, right? Because it's still so far from the best movie. Even if this movie is still pretty good, it's so far, right? Because the first movie is a literal masterpiece made by one of the greatest filmmakers alive, and you just can't top perfection.
I shouldn't be here. What?
It's a dinosaur.
Okay, how did his glasses never fall off? I mean, seriously, he fell down, hit several branches, and landed in the water, yet those wireframe glasses were still somehow stuck to his head, right? Meanwhile, my glasses fall off if I literally, like, lean over too much, they start to fall off. Like, how? And okay, he chews these? He chews these? He takes one of these out, takes an Altoid, and goes, he chews it? What is wrong with him? This is awful. You suck on these. Why does he chew them? Okay, I guess it's not that bad. But he's insane, okay? You don't chew Altoids. It's weird. Subscribe or something. I don't know.